All right, hey guys. So it's day 3 of the Decameron. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I thought the stories, had some good jokes and were kind of funny today. And so let's just jump right in. On the introduction, starting on page 91, we're told, Neaphili's the queen, and our theme for the day is to speak of people who have relied on their resourcefulness to acquire something they really desired or recover something they had lost. And so the theme for the day is largely going to focus around desire, and you can see desire running clearly through all of the stories that we read in here. But you also see the other elements of those 4 themes that Wally had mentioned. You do see elements of magnanimity, of fortune, and of intelligence throughout them for sure. So at the beginning of day 3, after the 2 days of rest that they had taken, getting back into storytelling now after a day for religious services and a day for personal well-being. Neaphili decides to move the group, and she moves them to a new house. And we get a gorgeous description of the gardens on page 92 and 93. And I thought it was just a really, really beautiful description, and you can definitely understand why later on in the day, when they have some free time before dinner, they all choose to stay in the garden regardless, because it is compared to the Garden of Eden in the comments, as you can see down below, and that it's supposed to just be this wonderful, beautiful, paradise. So I just wanted to briefly mention that. Anyway, so Wally said he was going to talk about the first story, so I decided I was going to go ahead and talk about story 8. Story 8 starts on page 102, and it is told to us by Loretta. The story focuses on a man named Ferrando and his wife, who she's seeking advice from an abbot, who's basically the head of a monastery, because she's unhappy with her marriage. She doesn't feel her husband, Ferrando, is very intelligent, but more so even she feels that he is very jealous of her often. And so she's seeking advice on what to do, because she doesn't feel, like she can continue living like this. And the abbot, who knows Ferrando very well, as established up in the second paragraph on 103, chooses to essentially make Ferrando think he's died and gone to purgatory, and then to bring him back from the dead to cure his jealousy. But in doing so, he gets Ferrando's wife to agree to sleep with him, which is curing kind of his own jealousy and his own desire. As we're told in that second paragraph on 103, during the course of his association with Ferrando, the abbot discovered that he was married to a very beautiful woman, and he fell so passionately in love with her that day and night he thought of nothing else. And so he's satisfying himself, as well as he thinks he's satisfying Ferrando's wife, by curing Ferrando of his jealousy and also getting him out of the picture for a little while. And so they go ahead with this plan, as we see throughout page 104 and 105. He explains the plan to her, and the abbot's going to drug Ferrando with wine, with a powder in his wine, and have him sleep for 3 days, and when he wakes, he will think he's in purgatory, and essentially be tortured until the abbot decides that Ferrando is cured of his jealousy and is safe to return to his wife. And so then, that occurs, and Ferrando's in purgatory. Meanwhile, the abbot is going and visiting his wife on countless occasions. And then on page 108, we get the reasoning for why the abbot finally has to stop and wake Ferrando and let him return to real life and to his wife. And the reason for that is because the abbot gets Ferrando's wife pregnant, and obviously he needs to wake up Ferrando and cover up that pregnancy and make Ferrando believe that he got his own wife pregnant after coming back from the dead. they do tell us on page 107 that Ferrando's in purgatory for 10 months before this. And so for 10 months this continues, which I think was kind of crazy to me personally. But then after waking Ferrando, he returns to his wife, and it does seem like things are resolved. Ferrando's jealousy of his wife seems to be resolved at the end of the story. And on page 109, we're told that, the jealousy is fine, and he is much, everything, the beatings and everything in purgatory has cured that issue. However, Ferrando seems to be as naive or unintelligent as he was from the beginning, as it says that he was cured of his jealousy, and that the lady was pleased with this turn of events. But then from then on, she lived with Ferrando no less chastely than she had in the past, except that whenever she could do so conveniently, she was always happy to spend time with the abbot, who had attended to her greatest needs with such skill and diligence. And so, despite coming back to life, Ferrando continues to be deceived by the abbot and his own wife. Even though he himself has changed in the experience, they changed as well, but maybe for the opposite. They've now just succumbed to their desires. So, yeah, that's story 8. I just thought it was really interesting, and I thought the representation of Ferrando and, how unintelligent he was definitely really interesting. And it was linked right in there with that theme of desire. So other than that, I just have a question for you guys. I'm curious to see of what other people think about the many examples throughout day 3 of individuals just kind of blindly believing what other people say. It seems like in every story there was at least one example of somebody who just has this blind trust in another, and is being deceived. And I'm just curious to know what you guys think of that and what Boccaccio is trying to do by showing us this blind trust that people can have in each other. Yeah, that's it.